Rivers, creeks, brooks, cascades, rapids, waterfalls all evoke scenes of water flowing downstream thanks to the forces of gravity and friction. That is, until the water reaches a destination, either a lake, reservoir, or ocean, and stops flowing downhill. We can evoke such imagery to find its parallel in music because music also has a characteristic flow to some sort of harmonic destination or ending, with one or more interesting attractions along the way. A harmonic destination that affects or interrupts forward motion is called a cadence. Cadences make music more attractive to listeners, just as waterfalls and rapids attract photographers. From this point on, most of our harmony exercises, and indeed most phrases in actual music, will contain a cadence. Cadences are in some ways like waterfalls, which temporarily interrupt the mostly horizontal motion of the stream, though the actual current doesn't stop. Each musical phrase ends with a cadence, and there are several sorts of cadences. In the most complete type, the closing chord falls on the metrical downbeat of the last bar, the accented part of the final measure. That was a perfect cadence. Now listen to the cadence itself, which is just the last two chords and melodic tones of this phrase. Perfect cadence. On the other hand, the final tonic chord in this next example is on the wrong beat for a cadence. Because the last chord here does not occur on a downbeat, but on an upbeat, there is no cadential feeling here. The solid fall to the tonic is missing. How does it sound to you? Compared to the perfect cadence. Perfect. The perfect cadence always ends with the tonic or one chord falling on the downbeat, but it is the chord right before the end, the penultimate chord, which determines the category of cadence. Listen to the two possibilities. So when the cadential formula falls from 5 to 1, we call it an authentic cadence. And when the closing proceeds from 4 to 1, a plagal cadence. There are, of course, perfect cadences, and there are also imperfect cadences, as well as half cadences, deceptive cadences, etc., all of which will eventually be explained through the course of your studies. Perhaps you've already reviewed the sample exercises from the 19th century textbooks linked in previous talks. If not, you will find links in the description. Take the time to transcribe some or all of the examples found on pages 27 to 29 of this book to give yourself a hands-on familiarity with how to do upcoming harmony exercises. In addition, you should absolutely practice transposing the two cadences shown here to the following major keys: G, D, A, E, F, B flat, E flat, and A flat major. Do your work with pencil on paper, add key signatures, Roman numerals, and mark each cadence as either authentic or plagal. Finally, play these transposed cadences in each of the keys on your piano keyboard. Finished? Post a comment to let us know how you did, or if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics. Here is food for thought.